I know our time is a bit fast spent by 10 minutes, but nevertheless, we are on time and we can kick it off. Today we are launching the Big Tobacco Allies, how the tobacco companies use intermediaries to foster their corporate social responsibility initiatives and promote their image in Uganda. Before we go further, I would like to have this opportunity for different participants to introduce themselves and where they are coming from. For those who will not be speaking, I will request that you mute, especially your voice. When you're not talking, you'll mute it. And after you finish introducing yourself, you'll be able to once again unmute back. So you're welcome for introductions.
Where do we start from? I start with myself, Baguma Richard from the Health Communication Alliance.
You're welcome, Mr. Baguma. Let us introduce ourselves, members, because of time, quickly.
I'm Asaba Linda from Uganda Health Communication Alliance.
Next.
Hello, I'm Zahara Bigova, UBC TV.
Hello, my name is Leonce Sessou from ATCA, African Tobacco Control Alliance. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Caleb Ayong. I'm also from the African Tobacco Control Alliance, ATCA. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Isaac Nasasa from Jambogo University.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kalema Andrew Arnold, a student from Jambogo University. Thank you.
Any other individuals introducing themselves before we cut the introduction time short?
My name is Komangeki Job from the Global Advocates.
Hello, good morning. This is Isaac Magezi from KYU. It's okay, now you get it.
And this is Nyapidi Joel from Jambogo University.
We are going to use the same Zoom PC. I just lost my phone. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Aturechere from Chamberlain University.
Hello, I'm Namanda Priscilla from Chamberlain University.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Georgina Bwana, Uganda Health Communication Alliance.
Thank you, everyone. We shall cut the introductions at that. But before we go to the next item, allow me read for us our agenda. After the introductions, we are going to have welcome remarks from the UHCA coordinator. Then we shall have the Take Apart campaign report presentation, which will be followed by remarks from ATCA. And then we shall have remarks from Ministry of Health Uganda. Then remarks and report launch, which is going to be headed by the Tobacco Control Committee Chairperson of Uganda, Mr. Bowenta, from Office of the Prime Minister. The conclusion will be discussions where we shall have any queries from the different people, participants, media, personnel, both online and offline. At this juncture, allow me invite Mr. Vaguma Richard, the coordinator of Uganda Health Communication Alliance, to give his welcome remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Destiny. Greetings from the city of Umbarara in the southwestern part of Uganda. I'm one of those that are quite happy that we are finally here to launch this report. It's been a while in the making. We started last year in the later part, and here we have this report increasing the role of tobacco use, particularly in the COVID time, because there's a very strong relationship in between, but also this exercise should be also seen as part of the continuing efforts by the different stakeholders, because we did this again together in partnership with many people, as part of the continuing efforts to fight the scourge of tobacco, which is having many, many negative impacts on our people, on their health, on their economics, on the environment, on many other aspects of our I must say that we have had extremely commendable support. First, from the campaign for tobacco-free kids. The campaign for tobacco-free kids has been such an important and crucial partner in the tobacco control journey of the Uganda Health Communication Alliance, but also for the entire Ugandan tobacco control journey, and now for other parts of the world. So thank you so much, the campaign for tobacco-free kids. Thank you so much for Director for the Africa program. She has been a fighter and really a warrior in this tobacco control journey, the entire team. We are really, really grateful. I also want to say our sincere gratitude to you, Leons, to Caleb, and the entire team at the Africa Tobacco Control Alliance, with whom we have walked this journey together. Thank you so much. We really look forward to continuing more and more steps so that eventually we can put tobacco where it should be. For me, I think it should be in the garbage bin of history. I would like to thank the team at the Health Communication Alliance, my team, Linda, Desti, Suna, the entire team. Thank you for the work that you do, and also the contribution to this report, and also the team that went to the field. Jenny Natika Kabiswa, who was the lead consultant. She's been with tobacco control for quite a time. Georgina Bwan, who is going also to speak to some of the content of the report just after my remarks. Thank you, team. All the team, all the groups, the statisticians, the data collectors, several of whom are on this, I've seen them on this Zoom meeting. Thank you so much. We really hope at the Health Communication Alliance and generally that exposing the allies, exposing the front groups of the tobacco industry in this country can contribute to fighting them, can contribute to guiding our advocacy efforts, can contribute to shaping our communication approaches so that we can all together have yet another tool in our arsenal that we are trying to build in the war against tobacco in Uganda and the other parts of the country. So I thank you so much. And I will invite my colleague, Georgina Bwana, to go ahead and go through the slides where some of the content of this report are, so that then we can all be a little more exposed to the content of the report and some of the things that we fought on the ground. But thank you so much for being part of this webinar. And we look forward to continuing the partnership with the media, with the social media guys, with you, the advocates, with all of you partners as we build a bigger network to rid our country and the world of tobacco. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baguma, for welcoming us and also control work in Uganda, but also the region of Africa at large. And also thank you for the great contribution to making this report a reality. At this moment, I'd like to invite Georgina Bwana to take us through the presentation of the Take a Part campaign report.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Sorry for that. I think there is feedback on my side.
Georgine, you should have more than one device connected beside you so you could mute one of them or just switch it off completely. If there's someone else next to you connected, I'll suggest you just, one of you should switch off, then we will avoid the echoes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of this launch. I am very, very excited. Thank you, Mr. Baguma, for guiding us through in this process that has taken us a while, but I'm so glad that we've been patient. We've been really working hard through it. My name is Georgine Obwana. I have been working with a very beautiful team of a couple of people. I believe Mr. Baguma had mentioned some of them, and we've been collaborating in ensuring that this report gets to its fruition and it's able to bring forth message about what had been going underground. And just to start on, the report is the Big Tobacco Allies, and we actually trying to find out how the tobacco companies use intermediaries to foster their corporate social responsibility initiatives and promote their image in Uganda. And straight on to the executive summary. An introduction, a brief introduction to this report. Uganda's commitment to tobacco control's effort is being undermined by front groups, and we know these third parties. And the industry is using these front groups to further their agenda. That's basically something that we discovered on ground. And so this survey was commissioned by ATCA and conducted by Uganda Health Communication Alliance to expose these front groups and alliances. And we want to thank UHCA for this. And the aim of this actually survey was to establish front groups, alliances in Uganda, sponsorship, and these groups and alliances, as well as the activities and different in Uganda and the different operations they're carrying out into the country. The main objectives we found was to expose tobacco industry intermediaries and mobilize stakeholders to take action against their activities. Second objective was to identify the tobacco industry entities that sponsor intermediaries and call for government and public intervention to stop them. The third objective of this survey was to establish the specific tactics as well as activities of the TI allies and make practical recommendations on how to curtail them. The approach basically that we applied in this survey was we used questionnaires. Basically, these questionnaires were administered both physically and online. And out of a rate of 100% targets, we're able to have an 81 response rate, which was actually good. And most of the respondents were from various organizations, such as parliaments, ministries. We also had media. We had some government agencies, including universities. Data was collected by data collectors who had actually gone through a training before they were sent into the field to collect this data. And key findings of this study, basically, one of the major key findings we got was that we realized legislators were collaborating with the tobacco industry, claiming tobacco control law is ineffective. And one of the people that we found was actually around 2014, the then Minister of State for Trade, the name was I think called Dr. James Mutende, was quoted in the media claiming smoking was a personal choice that cannot be stopped by laws. The one thing you need to understand is that such statements are basically made such a statement was made when the tobacco law in Uganda was being initiated. And you can actually agree with me that such our legislators who are supposed to be in the policy making of the country are actually downwashing the tobacco control law. The second key finding that we got is that the tobacco industry uses allies to undertake environmental conservation projects. And we discovered that a couple of institutions such as the Tropical Biodiversity Association and the Earthwatch Institute were noted to have collaborated with the British American Tobacco to undertake a project on sustainable forest management in Uganda. We also realized the Straight Talk Foundation. I think a couple of you have heard, it's a familiar foundation that actually deals with youth. It's been taking a tree talk project and planting trees in the district of West Nile, that's Adjumani. And such portrayal of these activities actually puts the tobacco industry to the media. And this is something that they're aiming to literally clean the image and to look like they are supporting the community. We also realized that they've had engagement with partnerships with Nature Harness initiatives, that's the NAHI, to help farmers to better monitor and manage the forests and freshwater ecosystems upon which actually people rely. And this picture in front of you is one of the ecosystem monitoring, restoration, and management in tobacco growing areas in Uganda. And clearly you can see that British American Tobacco is partnering with biodiversity through Tropical Biology Association, and they're championing all these initiatives. This is all an undercover activity. The third key finding of this study was that the tobacco industry is actually creating partnerships with non-government organizations to push their agenda. And this is very evident because we got to discover that they're hiding behind corporate social responsibilities initiatives to literally polish their image and also promote their products. And one of the NGOs we got to discover and establish was the Tomosi Foundation. And this Tomosi Foundation is co-funded by Alliance One. You can just imagine that. And it's a humanitarian organization. And remember, British American Tobacco Uganda is a client to this non-government organization. So you can see, because they go ahead and also appreciate farmers in Bunyoro for their diligence in growing tobacco. And these are the activities that portray the interference of the tobacco companies into the tobacco control laws. Our third key finding in this study also was that TI directly advertises tobacco and its products. And this was majorly using influencers, musicians, and so forth, because they believe the number that these people pull, the crowds that these influencers and musicians pull is so large, and they're youth, they're young, they're a very good target for them. So then they're using them to literally reach this large young audience and basically destroy them. And this is done through the posters. They use billboards, they use their social media, videos, and so forth. And literally on this, on your screen, I bet you can see a couple of them. These are very familiar faces in Uganda. If you could name them here, and you can see how the tobacco industry is using them. Some young people can tend to take this as something very fancy and adopt these cultures. So the influence, the interference of the tobacco industry through the indirect advertising, indirect marketing of the products is so deep. Also, you can see here, these are very interesting pictures, I bet. You can see this events. One of it was the Nkuka. I bet you, for the journalists and some people that are here, you can know these events that's promoted in Uganda. And then there is the roast and rhyme. You see how revelers enjoying themselves, but the shisha pot is right in front of them and they're smoking. So you can see what the tobacco industry is doing behind the curtains. Now, the discussions that we came up with in relation to this particular study was that we realized the threat posed by the tobacco industry and its allies is literally evident and in the advancement of the tobacco control in Uganda. And these allies claim to do something different, yet behind the curtains, their motives is completely ulterior. It's not what they are portraying themselves to be doing. We also realize that the tobacco industry has good media reviews from the corporate social responsibility stance. And this comes in because they're able to promote their activities in the face value that is very beneficial to the public, but underneath it's literally detrimental. And this has given them a lot of publicity from the media. And most of the times when this publicity is out, it's also in relation to public officials. So you understand how very dangerous the tobacco industry is in our environment. And thirdly, we also had our discussions basing on that for the tobacco control law to be enforced in Uganda. There must be a reduction in the interference of the tobacco company, especially through stringent controls in relation to resetting rules of engagement, demanding transparency, as well as disclosure of tobacco industry conducts and their finances. And straight on to a couple of recommendations we came up with after having all this placed on table and realizing that the TI is really dangerous, is that we sought all individuals, especially the young people, those in agencies, those in CSOs, okay, just summarily everyone in and for the tobacco control, as well as public health, should advocate for the full implementation of the Tobacco Control Act of 2015, as well as the tobacco control regulations, whereby we saw that Article 5.3 of the FCTC should be upheld really, really highly. We also recommended that there is need for prosecution of the tobacco industry and front groups, particularly public officials who are in breach of the Tobacco Control Act and the tobacco control regulations. Similarly, our third recommendation here came on after we realized that there is need to raise awareness and condemn the evil actions of the tobacco industry and front groups, especially in the civils. Remember, Ali Rona has showed you one of our key findings, whereby they're targeting non-government organizations and trying to use them to promote their products, to promote their agenda in Uganda. So raising awareness is a very important key factor here. We also thought to expose and counter the corporate social responsibility actions and publicity should be generated. Thirdly, fifth recommendation was that there is need for mass education, specifically of the youth, on the dangers of tobacco use and its benefits. Earlier on in our last recommendation, key findings, we realized that the TI is targeting youth so much because most times they're naive. Sometimes they're gotten into these habits or to use tobacco because they may not know of their dangers. So educating them on the dangers of tobacco was one of the recommendations, and we thought it's really beneficial. So eventually we decided that there should be a particular call to action to all stakeholders in Uganda, and we realized that increasing the understanding of the tobacco industry tactics of using third party in the country is very, very important, because we realized that the activities are very ulterior. They're using these organizations, they're using these individuals, they're using a lot of platforms to push for their agenda. So having knowledge, having information, getting to know how they operate using third party is very important so that they can be counted. And also we call for stakeholders to have collective, to come together and have better and coordinated efforts to counter TI interference in Uganda. So in conclusion, we thought that activities of TI and its allies hamper Uganda's tobacco control efforts, including implementation of the National Tobacco Control Act of 2015, as well as the tobacco control regulations, because we noticed that there cannot be any kind of meaningful progress if the tobacco allies continue to push the agenda of the tobacco industry in Uganda. And also we thought authorities must be reminded, re-educated about the conflict of interest that interactions with the tobacco industry and its front groups create. So the aspect of knowledge here is very important. And there's also one thing we had to conclude upon was that there is need to have clear disclosure, transparency policy for public officials, because remember, in a first finding, realized public officials, especially like the legislators, may get themselves to be pushing the agenda of TI, probably knowingly or unknowingly. So having clear disclosure, transparency policy for public officials, policymakers, and non-government organizations in their interface with the tobacco industry. So it's very, very critical that all people understand that the tobacco tobacco control, and the tobacco industry therefore cannot, and I mean that cannot and should not be perceived or portrayed in a manner that it's interested in supporting the people, it's interested in the welfare of the people in Uganda, but it's actually destroying the health of the population by working with certain groups, with certain organizations, with certain individuals in Uganda. So basically, we should continue to say that no to tobacco, and kindly let's expose big tobacco in our country. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Georgine Obwana.
Thank you so much, Georgine Obwana, for the elaborate discussion and presentation about the report. I believe that most of us have gotten at least to understand it as much as we shall be able to read the documents later on. Without any more time, allow me invite allow me invite Mr. Lyons to give his remarks.
Hello, Destiny. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Baguma. I'm glad to join you today in the launch of this report. And first of all, I want to commend the UHCA for this report. As Georgina just presented, this is something that is clearly with evidence showing that we have an industry that we are facing here that is using a tactic that is really a tactic that is, if it's not uncovered, it's been a big problem. I will just say here that this report we are launching today is exposing, as we heard in the first presentation, this tactic that is being used by the tobacco industry globally, but also in Africa. We selected 3 countries in Africa to survey on this. We did this in Uganda, as we are here today to launch the report, but also we did in Nigeria and in Zambia. These 3 countries are just kind of a sample that we took from the continent to check on these tactics, and this is the first kind of report on tobacco industry using allies in Africa. I'm glad to say that as we heard from Georgine, this is when the industry is liaising with government officials or non-government organizations to push forward its agenda. That's, of course, someone could say it's not the industry doing this, it's a non-government organization promoting activities, giving some, bringing some capacity to people, or doing some corporate social activities. Yes, but still the industry pushing forward its agenda through what we call allies. So allies could be individuals, but also could be organizations, even from the authorities side. When we got to this, it's important for us to take action. That's where our action will come from. And this campaign is, I know Destiny told us in the beginning that it's a take apart. We call it the take apart campaign. Just to say that the media, you hear from civil society, from university, from any side in terms of authorities, government, or MPs, we all have to take action because this tactic that we are exposing today is something that if we don't take action, will be going forward and will delay the implementation of the Tobacco Control Act. Well, we have to take action, and when we say take a part, taking up a part in this is that we have a role to play. We all have a role to play in isolating or first exposing the industry. So what you have in this report, we need to expand on it. We need to expose this, share this with the media, keep on, posting tweets and get our voice raised at a certain level that anyone, any authority that should take action to take control of these tobacco companies' use of allies or intermediaries should take action. But when it comes to the Take Apart campaign, what we also say is when we're taking apart, we join our effort to expose and isolate the industry and help accelerate the implementation of the tobacco control policies. We also then are working to take the industry apart. So you see that this is a play on the word take apart. That's take apart and take the industry apart. So your effort to join today, to join in this launch today is really commendable. First thing, that is to come in and hearing what we have done so far and the conclusion. And then you, from your side, what you need to do now is to take the words from here and share. From there, we all again will push to get the action authorities, because that's what we did. Without that, the organizations, the individuals, they'll keep on collaborating, they'll keep on being exploited to help the industry move forward in the promotion of its business. We all know that tobacco kills. Tobacco kills, and as we have tobacco companies promoting deadly products, there is a need for us to take responsibility. And that's where we can, tobacco is not a product, it's not like egg or like bread. You go in a supermarket, you can, you buy. Of course, someone will go to supermarket and buy a cigarette or other tobacco products, but it's not like bread or egg that he is going to eat for the good of his health, but this is to kill. And as far as it's a product that will kill, we have to do further. We need to do from any position you are here today, you have a role to play to help expose and isolate the industry. As I mean, to take part and to take the industry apart. I will stop here and say that I'm really looking forward to see the outcomes. The launching, the launch of today is just a step, as you can hear from my remarks. That is just the first step. But what do we do? What else? That's what is really needed. What are the outcomes? We hope that very soon we can hear from UHCA and from other stakeholders here today, reporting that yes, as we conducted this survey and we exposed, we are glad to share today that this decision is taken somewhere. This organization wrote a letter saying that they are not going to do this, and that that they will stop any partnership with the industry. The industry will no more be the client. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's how we really showing that the industry is being isolated. So I thank you for joining in this first step, and I look forward to hearing from you on what are the outcomes in the months to come. We are always here to keep on supporting you. And as you know, ATCA, the African Tobacco Control Alliance, for those of you here that are just joining us and have known before about our alliance, we are an alliance covering 39 countries in Africa. We have, as a civil society alliance, we have organizational members in 39 countries in Africa, including Uganda, where we have 3 organizations in the network. We today support the governments through the civil society organization to help advance the implementation of the WHO FCTC, by promoting the health and the well-being of our population. This we are headquartered in Togo, that's in West Africa. We are in Togo, but that's the secretariat. It's just an office in Togo. We work, as you can see, across the region. Presently, I came in this morning in Mauritania. So I'm talking to you from Mauritania, another country where we have another activity to expose the industry tactics using advertising and promotion of tobacco products. But I'm glad before that activity in Mauritania to join you today to contribute in what you are doing in Uganda. So thank you very much. We keep in touch, we keep working together and to push the tobacco control forward in Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lyons, for those wonderful remarks and for supporting the tobacco control cause in the region of Africa and internationally. Without you and your support plus your team at ATCA, we wouldn't have gone far with the different tobacco control activities that we carry out, especially in Uganda. At this moment, I know our time is fast spent and we have very few minutes left. Allow me invite the tobacco control focal person at the Ministry of Health to, so I will use my screen so that we can easily get to the audience online. Thank you. Yes, good morning, everyone. Protocol observed. Am I clear? I'd like to first of all thank the organizers and commend the authors of this report for the job well done. I was listening in. I was not here at the time, at the beginning of the whole process, but I was listening in online, and I found this very, very, very informative. I'd like to inform the group that is listening to us here that this is the third report we are receiving about the tobacco industry interference in the last 5 years. And we seem to have the same, like the same information is coming up again and again. And I have noted a certain trend in the TI tactics. Of course, using people, other people as their front groups. That has been some major issue that has been documented in all the reports. We are seeing them delaying processes. For instance, they delayed the implementation of our regulations. You know that they first of all put an injunction, and then shortly thereafter, it wasn't short. After just a time when we were discussing, then they chose to pull out. They realized they were going to lose the case, and then they pulled out. We've seen a lot of their corporate social responsibility actions. So them giving monies to the response team, and they wanted their whatever to be shown on television and be shown everywhere. This is against the rule, of course. We are seeing them twisting government, putting government at ransom for some of their actions. For instance, we know that dealing with some farmers, we just heard about government having to set aside some money to pay off farmers in the street. We know that the industry is not bankrupt, has not yet filed for bankruptcy. So it has the mandate to actually look out for this industry to pay. But unfortunately, the government is choosing to pay the farmers, and we are not hearing any actions on the other side. We don't know what they plan to do for the industry that fleeced the farmers of their money. So anyway, these are some of the tactics, these are some of the things, the tricks that the industry uses just to make sure that they make themselves, either they run away from a case or they make themselves important. One thing that I've also realized is that the majority of our people and organizations are actually not knowledgeable about this Article 5.3. And I want to really agree with the authors of the report when they recommend that we need to increase awareness about this article. It is very easy, actually, and to do. And okay, maybe just to let you know that what does this article say? Article 5.3 of the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control says that in setting and implementing public health policies in respect to tobacco control, countries should act to protect these policies, that is the tobacco control policies, from the commercial and other vested interests of the tobacco industry. And in so doing, they should be accountable and transparent. If they choose to interact with the industry, they should be accountable and transparent, and they should not give incentives. We're not supposed to give incentives or any preferential treatment to the tobacco industry. I've been talking to colleagues about implementation of the Tobacco Control Act, and some of them are telling me, but for us when we are working, we work with everyone. We work with all partners. We work with all stakeholders. And if the tobacco industry is a stakeholder, then we should work with them the same way we work with others. I want to bring to the attention of my colleagues or whoever is out there, when we are dealing with the tobacco industry, it is a little different. First of all, the product that they are promoting is lethal, despite it being legal, but it is lethal, it is killing people. So there is no way we can give it the same treatment as we treat other companies or other organizations. So we should limit, again, another thing is we should limit our interactions as far as possible.
and could only meet for purposes of regulation. If it is not regulation, we are not supposed to be seen to be hanging around with the tobacco industry and with them how we are going to implement certain things. What we need to do is just to let them know that we're taking these steps 1, 2, 3 to regulate you, and this is how it shall be done. And that is how we are supposed to relate with the tobacco industry, but not to get in meetings with them and then we plan on what the next step shall be and so on. That is something that is against the Article 5.3. The other thing is we have seen our colleagues in other government departments trying to create partnerships with the industry, saying that the industry will help us to do this here. As we do this, then the industry will be doing the other thing. These are all things that are against this particular Article 5.3 of the FCTC. In our act, we provided for the industry to give us information about their dealings in the previous year. Unfortunately, we've had only one industry that is reporting. The rest of the industries are actually not reporting. I don't know whether they don't know or they've just decided to keep quiet. But unfortunately, even the information that is being given by a particular industry, the one that is reporting, missing out that their information is not accurate, and it is not, it is not accurate, and it leaves some gaps, which of course we shall address. So again, I would like to thank everyone who managed to log in, and those of you who are here, our media. I'm so happy to see you. You're always our allies. You're always passing on information. Yes, we are calling you again for this very important Article 5.3. There are lots of things you guys are seeing. Some of us can miss it, but wherever you are, you could be able to see some of these things. So if you know what this article actually entails, it will go a long way in helping us to implement this Article 5.3. We also have it as Part 8 of our Act. It is embedded in our Act, and actually that makes our Tobacco Control Act as one of the best in the region. Many governments are shunning away from having this in their laws, but lately we are hearing them making addendums and adding a few parts of this article. For us, we put it in there, and it is all the way, everything that as it is in the FCTC is how we put it in our law. So thank you very much, again, the organizers of this meeting. Thank you very much for calling us, and thank you very much, the authors, ATCA. Thank you very much. We appreciate the work ATCA is doing for us as a country. I've had you again helping us with the tax policy. Yes, as a country, we need to do some work around the tax policy, but we thank you very much for all the support that you're giving. And as Oliver Trist, we want even a little more. This is the time, guys, we need to implement the law. We need to implement the act. There are no more stones, and there are no more barriers. If we fail to implement, now the problem will be us and not the industry. We should not blame the industry, because at least we have been able to get over their hurdles, the hurdles that they have put in our path. So we are ready to implement, and we should do it as soon as possible to protect this generation and the next one from the devastating effects of tobacco use. Thank you very much for listening to me. I wish you all a happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hafsa. And thank you to everyone for being with us up to this time. This moment, allow me invite Mr. Boaz Musimenta, who is the chairperson for the Tobacco Control Committee at Office of the Prime Minister.
moderator, for inviting me. First, I would like to thank Uganda Health Communication Alliance and the team, the entire team at UHCA for continuing to do great work in tobacco control. I know Mr. Baguma, the team leader, has been having a difficult time these last 2 weeks after the loss of your father. We condole with you, and may his soul rest in peace, your father. I thank UHCA for bringing the evidence that the industry is trying to circumvent the provisions of the TCA and its attendant regulations by doing their social responsibility, which is outlawed by the TCA through various initiatives, was unknown. Thank you for unearthing this information, this important information. This is an opener, an eye opener to all of us, that we have to keep our eyes open, and not just open, but wide open, that for regulation to be effective, we must ensure that all the provisions of the TCA and its attendant regulations are actually complied with. We must be proactive, and I've observed in the last few weeks that nobody is going to do it for us. It is us, the Tobacco Control Fraternity in Uganda, with our supporters, to do it. Last week, I had an engagement with the Uganda Revenue Authority, and they told me that for them, they cannot help us, for example, to refuse to put digital tax stamps on tobacco products which do not conform to the TCA, because they would have promoted two illegalities. One, the other one will continue trading. As you have seen, we have certain tobacco products on the market which don't conform to the regulations, the tobacco regulation, control regulations, but they continue trading on the market. And we have been told by the tax body that nobody will do that for us, have to do it ourselves. Ourselves as the tobacco control fraternity. So that is a food for thought, and we are going to have the Tobacco Control Committee meeting next week. To see how to step up our efforts, because it is our responsibility to look for ways where we can effectively control the industry. I'm surprised that certain sections of research institutions and CSOs are being used. We were aware because we watch their videos, but when it comes to civil society organizations and research institutions, as I've seen, that's new information, and that's the value that this research brings on the table. That's the value, and those the research. But we need to ask ourselves, and we ask because our partners like ATCA is a partner in this activity, and all other partners that we have. We need to ask ourselves serious questions. My background is in policy research, and I usually ask questions to answer, to get solutions to situations at hand. I might not have the solutions, but at least I will pose a few questions to be clear. The first question is, are these civil society innocent who commits a felony by not knowing that it is actually a felony because of their age? They are not exposed. or they are doing it because a source of funding has come up and they take it up. So that's the question we must ask. If it is answered in the negative, then it means that there is awareness required to be created, because we don't have the act in place and we sit on our laurels and say now we have it, everybody should know it. That's the question. We need to, first of all, be comfortable that it is in the the regulations. The other question is, have we, as tobacco control fraternity in this country, reached out to those civil society organizations and individuals who might be, because of their either ignorance or whatever it might be, approached and used by the industry? Have we reached out to them? These are questions we need to follow after these findings. So the other one is, have we popularized the TCA and its attendant regulations? For example, is the public aware that smoking tobacco, using a tobacco product which does not conform to the regulations is illegal? Have we popularized that? And these questions I'm asking them so that our partners like UHCA can get more resources to try and do some work around popularization. Having the media in the room is a very important step, and thank you, members of the fourth step, for being interested parties in the tobacco control activities. But how further can we take this information to the lowest, to the target population of the industry, so that we create that awareness? I have seen, been informed that on the market, those products which have not conformed to the regulations are buying at a higher price than the ordinary one. And I've verified that. You just walk into a shop and ask whether you have a product which does not have the graphic health warning. They'll tell you we have, but it is a little more expensive than the one drawn from the packet which has a graphic warning. But we know tobacco is the same. It is just a differentiated product. The other one avoiding a health warning, and this one having a graphic health warning, and that attracts a difference in price. Those are the ills we have to strongly come out by the instrument, which is the Tobacco Control Act and its attendant regulations, which must come out very strongly to enforce. Now, another dimension of the industry has come. They are going through the civil society, and that calls for another reinvention of approaches to reach out to those who are being exploited by the industry. I can go on and on, but I want to reiterate the appreciation of the good work done by Uganda Health Communication Alliance and the partner who funded the activity to bring evidence, the new evidence that actually the industry is going through civil society to advance its interests. And this is evidence enough that we must reinvent ourselves and change our approach in tobacco control. To be on the lookout, we have to work with Uganda Communications Commission, which regulates the movies and music industry, to ensure that what we have seen musicians advertising their activities and concerts while using tobacco products, such things can be stopped. It only requires us to approach the relevant institutions and that we shall do to stem such emerging vices. I thank you very much for listening and good day.
Thank you, Mr. Boaz, for those remarks. And thank you to everyone for having been with us up to this far. We are coming towards the closure. We just have one more item that is for discussion in the event that there are any questions that some of the participants have, both online and offline. Those online can raise their hands and then ask a question or type it in the chats and shall be read. In the meantime, I would like to appreciate the different categories of people who have been able to join reports in Uganda from the different organizations and those who are independent. Thank you for joining us, the data collectors who are able to move to the different organizations and individuals to be able to get this vital information that makes up the report. We appreciate your effort. These were mainly the youth ambassadors of tobacco control, championing tobacco control in their influences. We would also like to thank the people from CTFK that were able to join, especially Belinda Moses. Thank you. ATCA, our gratitude can never stop today. We thank you so much, Mr. Lyons and your team, for the great contribution towards we would like to also thank Ministry of Health and OPM as our government support arm. Without them, we would not be able to do any work in the country. The media, we value you. Without you, our information cannot reach to the bigger portion of the population. So thank you, everybody. Any question?
Yes, mine first. Is there a copy of that report so that the one who has launched it and the Ministry of Health need for tobacco control, maybe they hold it for us and yeah, we can have it on the live streaming because it's streaming. And I can also see a copy. I haven't seen one.
Okay.
Because let him do the official launch. I didn't hear him launching the report, so I'm happy to see him launching the report and holding it in his hands.
Yes, we are going to have that launch. We just wanted to see if there are any one or two questions because the launch is going to be the last thing, rounding it up.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I see no hands up. I see no questions in the chat. So on that note,
just a comment.
I see no hands up.
Just a comment from my end. We've done this. We've put a comment on the chat section just to highlight.
Pardon, Mr. Lyons, pardon on the comment.
No, it's okay, Destiny, please continue. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Allow me. Allow me call on Mr. Boaz once again to officially launch the report.
Thank you, Destiny, for bringing me back again. And I have a very simple duty to launch the Big Tobacco Allies report on how tobacco companies use intermediaries to foster their corporate social responsibility initiatives and promote single honor to launch the report for God and my country.
Hello, Mr. Boaz, please take it again. We have to take a picture of you, please. Please hold the report. I'm taking a picture. Thank you. Thank you, it's fine.
That's fine.
Yes, sir, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm done. I take the picture already. Thank you.
Okay, I think I can profit from this moment of transition to come back. I'm sorry, I lost connectivity. So we're saying that we also have this launch being relayed on ATCA's Facebook page live, which has well over 75,000 followers, and so it's a big event all around the continent and internationally. I want to assure you of that. Talking about social media activities, we have a hashtag. The campaign has been ongoing. This is the third country where we're launching the report. We've done it in Zambia and in Nigeria. So there is a hashtag which we would urge you all to follow for whatever social media activity you're undertaking, be it on Facebook, be it on Twitter, be it on Instagram. Please use the hashtag expose big tobacco allies. That's it. It is being popped up on the chat right now. Expose big tobacco allies. And if you follow that hashtag, also you will be able to see all the other activities in other countries related to this campaign. I just want to bring that up, and thank you once again. A big congratulations to UHCA for the report, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have come to the end of our event for launching of this Take Apart Tobacco Control Report. I would like to invite Mr. Baguma to give us closing remarks. Mr. Baguma, you're welcome to give us closing remarks. Mr. Baguma?
Thank you very much, Destiny, to have this report launched at this time, and I have been low. Now, Destiny. Well,
please go ahead. We can hear you.
That you can hear.
We can hear
excellent.
you.
Very much. I was saying that this is a high point for me. Last week, I buried my father. That's why I'm away from the event of the launch. I'm still trying to recover from that. So this is a high point for me. I'm very, very glad that this has been this colorful. I'm glad that Mr. Boaz Musimenta, my colleague and friend, but also my chairman at the Tobacco Control Committee, you have been able to be present and launch this. Dr. Hafsa has been a big backbone of this process for many years. Thank you, Dr. Hafsa, for always being there for UHCA, for tobacco control. Even when you have the other, I know you have the other schedules that are difficult for you, especially during the COVID time. Thank you, my media colleagues. My media colleagues, you have been very brilliant. You have been, I don't know how to say, and the social media team. Thank you so much. So for me, it's thanking ATCA. Belinda was on this line. Please, Belinda, thank you to you personally, but please take our great thanks to the CTFK team. We are very, very grateful. My team at the office and the researchers. Oh, thank you, thank you. That's for me. Let's not just jubilate because we have a report and that's it. The report makes recommendations. In my view, they are practical. We need to go out and deal with them. We need to go out and deliver on this. Mr. Msimenta Boaz, I have had the challenge you have pushed to us. This is certainly a joint challenge for all of us. And I can tell you we are going to do everything we can to make sure that we rise up to that challenge. My fellow advocates, let's keep our hands high, let's keep our energies high so that we can continue the fight against tobacco use, which is metamorphosing all the time, which is hiding, which has allies, which has friends. Let's keep fighting, exposing them and doing everything possible. Thank you so much. Have a great day as we continue to advocate and use the report to increase tobacco control work. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.